This is every level of UFC fighter loyal to Dana White, explained. Level 1. Horrible. These aren't just fighters who left the UFC, these are fighters who went to full-blown war with Dana White. Mark Hunt is the king of this level. He sued the UFC for racketeering after they let Brock Lesnar fight at UFC 200 with a drug testing exemption. When Lesnar failed the test, Hunt demanded his $2.5 million purse. The UFC said no, so Hunt took them to court, calling Dana a petrol-pumping ratfuck on social media. The court dismissed his case and ordered Hunt to pay the UFC $388,000 in legal fees, but Hunt said this was the hill he was willing to die on. Tito Ortiz literally got into a fistfight with Dana White on a private jet at 30,000 feet. They were messing around when Tito put Dana in a neck crank and wouldn't let go. Dana started punching him in the ribs, and it turned into a full brawl that had to be broken up by the UFC owners. Randy Couture fought for his likeness rights and got blacklisted. When he signed with Bellator, Dana banned him from cornering his own son in a UFC fight. Randy was persona non grata for refusing to sign over his rights. And Diego Sanchez, his coach Joshua Fabia, started demanding Diego's medical records and hinting at CTE lawsuits. The UFC cut Diego immediately to avoid the legal liability. Level 1 fighters don't just leave. They burn the bridge, blow up the ashes, and make sure Dana White knows exactly how they feel about him on the way out. Level 2. Bad. Now we're at fighters who didn't go nuclear, but they annoyed Dana enough to get punished. Muhammad Mokaev was 7-0, undefeated in the UFC, a future title contender, and the UFC cut him anyway. Why? Because his team tried to use the PFL as leverage during contract negotiations. Dana found out and immediately said the PFL is going to get a great undefeated guy. Good luck to him. It was a warning to the entire roster. Even if you're winning, looking at the competition will get you thrown out. Demetrius Johnson is the flyweight GOAT. He defended his belt 11 times, more than almost anyone in UFC history. But DJ refused to play Dana's game. He wouldn't promote himself the way Dana wanted. When Dana tried to book him against TJ Dillashaw moving up a weight class, DJ said TJ needed to prove he could make flyweight first. He just wanted to fight and go home. No trash talk, no drama, no promotional tours. So what did Dana do? He traded him to one championship like he was a baseball card. The best flyweight ever. Shipped off because he wasn't loyal to the promotional machine. Level 2 fighters get frozen out, buried on prelims, or cut entirely. The message is clear: winning isn't enough. You have to be loyal. Level 3. Mid. These are the professionals. They show up, they fight, they collect their check, and they stay out of Dana's business. But they're not kissing his ass either. The best example here is Stipe Miocic. Stipe is the greatest heavyweight in UFC history, but Dana never treated him like it. Before his fight with Francis Ngannou at UFC 220, the UFC spent all their promotional budget hyping up Francis, basically ignoring the champion. When Stipe beat Francis, dominating him for 5 rounds, Dana walked up with the belt to wrap it around his waist. And Stipe? He snatched it out of Dana's hands and gave it to his coach instead. It was a silent act of defiance that said, "I did this despite you, not because of you." There's also Dominic Cruz. Cruz works as a UFC commentator, but he's not afraid to call out the business. He's openly said that UFC rankings are manipulated based on fighter pay, not skill. If we start giving a guy more money, we just move him up in the rankings. He even admitted he mutes Daniel Cormier's commentary because he can't stand the company bias. Level 3 fighters are transactional. They're here to work, not to be part of the family. Level 4. Good. Now we're getting to fighters Dana actually likes working with. These are the reliable soldiers who take tough fights, save cards, and get rewarded for it. Robert Whittaker is the model level 4 fighter. He takes the hardest fights in the middleweight division without complaint. When he needed dental implants after getting his teeth knocked out, he casually mentioned, "Uncle Dana paid for my new teeth. It was a work injury." That word, Uncle Dana, says everything. Rob views the UFC as his employer, and he treats them with respect. In return, they take care of him. Then there's Max Holloway. Max steps up on short notice constantly, taking fights against killers like Justin Gaethje or whoever the UFC needs, and he knows his worth. After his war at UFC 300, footage shows him immediately telling his corner, "Go tell fucking Dana to get his bonus." He doesn't beg, he demands it because he's earned it. Brandon Moreno is another one. The UFC cut him early in his career. Instead of suing or complaining, he went to another league, won fights, came back, and became champion. He's Dana's perfect bootstrap story, a guy who was told he wasn't good enough, worked harder, and proved everyone wrong. Level 4 fighters understand the game. They're loyal because it pays off, and Dana rewards that reliability with job security and undisclosed perks. Level 5. Elite. These fighters don't just stay quiet, they actively defend Dana White and the UFC publicly, and in return, Dana protects them from consequences. Sean Strickland is the face of this level. Sean says things about women and LGBTQ people that would get an athlete in any other sport banned for life. But when reporters ask Dana why he allows it, Dana explodes.
Free speech, brother.
Compare that to 2013, when Dana suspended Matt Mitrione for transphobic comments, saying, ignorant, stupid stuff, see what happens. The difference? Strickland is a draw. Strickland aligns with Dana's anti-PC brand, so he gets the free speech shield. Bryce Mitchell took this even further. He actively promoted a neo-Nazi documentary that portrays Adolf Hitler as the good guy and denies the Holocaust, telling his fans it was the truth. Dana called the comments beyond disgusting but took zero disciplinary action. No suspension, no fine, nothing. Meanwhile, Mohamed Mokayev got cut for talking to the PFL. In the UFC, you can promote Hitler propaganda and keep your job, but negotiate with the competition, you're gone. Then there's Paddy Pimblett. Paddy attacked journalist Ariel Helwani on a podcast with Dana sitting right there, calling him a rodent and accusing him of exploiting fighters. Why? Because Ariel is Dana's enemy. By attacking Ariel, Paddy was showing total allegiance. It backfired publicly when Ariel exposed Paddy's hypocrisy, but it didn't matter. Dana loved it. Level 5 fighters are attack dogs. They defend the boss, and the boss defends them. Level 6, generational. At this level, fighters have proven their loyalty so completely that they operate above the normal rules. They've earned Dana's trust by playing roles that make the UFC money. Ronda Rousey built the women's division when nobody believed it could work. She became the biggest star in the sport and made Dana millions. That loyalty earned her privileges no other fighter has ever received. Before UFC 207, she refused to do press conferences, open workouts, or interviews. For any other fighter, that's a breach of contract, and they'd be fined or pulled from the card. But Dana said she asked for it. For all she's done for the company, she gets it. Ronda didn't just fight for the UFC, she built it. Her loyalty to Dana's vision when everyone doubted women's MMA meant the rules simply didn't apply to her anymore. Chael Sonnen created the blueprint for this level. He understood that being loyal to Dana's vision mattered more than being clean. Even after failing drug tests and pleading guilty to federal money laundering, Chael kept getting title shots because he could sell a fight better than anyone. He created the heel role, the trash-talking villain that drives pay-per-view buys. His loyalty to the promotional machine earned him a commentary job for life. Now he runs a YouTube channel where he defends every UFC decision Dana makes. He's still working for Dana, just in a different way. Level 6 fighters understand the assignment. Build the brand, keep the secrets, sell the product, do that, and you get to break the rules everyone else has to follow. Level 7, GOAT status. This isn't just a fighter, this is a partner, this is family, this is someone who's integrated into the corporate structure forever. Daniel Cormier is the ultimate Level 7 loyalist. After his bitter rivalry with John Jones, a rivalry where John failed multiple drug tests and DC's win was overturned to a no contest, DC could have gone to war with the UFC. He could have sued. He could have exposed the corruption. Instead, he became their mouthpiece. He works as a commentator and defends the promotion on every single broadcast. When the video of Dana slapping his wife on New Year's Eve went viral, DC was one of the few people who publicly softened the blow, saying Dana took accountability immediately and urging people to move on. Why does DC do this? Because after one of his losses to John, Dana handed him a check for $1 million as a locker room bonus, and DC said it himself, "I feel like I'm Dana's kid. You know how you can do things to please your dad? That's how I feel." That's level 7. It's not boss and employee, it's father and son. And once you're in the family, you're set for life with commentary jobs, Hall of Fame inductions, and a seat at the table forever. DC chose loyalty over justice, and in return, he became part of the empire. From fighters who got sued into oblivion and erased from history, to fighters who can skip press conferences and get million-dollar checks in the back, this is the UFC's loyalty ladder. At the bottom, you're Mark Hunt calling Dana a petrol-pumping ratfuck and losing $388,000 in court. At the top, you're Daniel Cormier saying, "I feel like Dana's kid," while cashing million-dollar bonuses. Loyalty to Dana White isn't about respect. It's not about fairness. It's about leverage. And in this game, the fighters who understand that are the ones who get to stay.